Viewers, welcome back, and it's still the show Deen and Dunya. The topic is mental health. So we've been talking about the issues that we see around with regards to mental health, and I remember someone saying while she was growing up, she actually was staying with a stepmom that was actually not really nice to her. And so whenever she makes any mistake, instead of correcting her or like giving her soft words, she'd be like, I know you cannot do anything better. You are this, you're a failure, you. And then she grew up with that. Then unfortunately, when she got married, she had a husband that would actually crush her confidence every time she would like to do something. He stopped her from interacting with people that they're going to influence her, they're going to change her, and then he cannot control her. And so it reached a point where she had so much anxiety that she cries for no reason. And she noticed that even her little girl was actually taking after her. The girl would be like, I don't have friends at school. People don't like me. And she was like, she needs to seek help to see how she can stop this. So what do you think a person can do in that situation?
Well, like I told you earlier, a person, you know, every person has something, there's something called ACEs, Adverse Childhood Experiences. Now, this basically the traumatic events a child goes through between the age of 0 to 17. Now, during that time, everything you go through, be it sexual abuse, violence, emotional abuse, it's stored in the subconscious mind. So it affects the way you see yourself and the way you behave. Yeah. And then it was further reinforced now by the husband. Now, so I can't just like say something about this person because there has to be assessments.
You know, the funny thing is when she said this is what she was going through, the anxiety and all that, the guy said it's because she doesn't have much consciousness of Allah. She doesn't have much taqwa.
So it's more like religious manipulation again.
Exactly, like it's her fault that this is happening to her.
This is a very common thing, especially from those who are more religious, who seem to be more religious. I think it's a very common thing, and they make you feel less as a Muslim. And again, I can't say this is the reason why she did it, or it's true, because we can't say, right? But the thing about it is, there's a way you can actually reaffirm yourself. Now, it has to do with you knowing yourself as well, and then being deliberate, taking action. Like I said, I can make an example of myself. People find it hard to believe, but at some point in my life, I also suffered from low self-esteem. And it took a while, and I began to talk to myself. Actually, I had to go through coaching and therapy, and I began to do something called positive self-talk, whereby I affirmed it to myself. I would stand in front of the mirror, because I'm a drama queen, and I look into the mirror and I'll say, Kai, and I'll smile at myself, and I tell myself beautiful things I want people to tell me. And I think that's it. We need to work on this need for external validation.
Yeah, you don't have to wait
tell
for
yourself
somebody
what
to tell
you want people to tell you. You don't have to do it in front of a mirror, but just it's so important to reaffirm it over and over, because the mind is powerful. The mind believes whatever you tell it. So if you keep telling it, it will be embedded in your subconscious mind. So it's something perhaps I would have also talked to your friend about, and to her, perhaps amongst other things, because it will be amongst other things. Practicing positive self-talk, it does help.
When you know, okay, so if it's now that way, there's no one size shoe fits all. So is there like mental health first aid that you can, you know, help people with, that someone has been at the lowest point of their life for a while, they are not able to do anything else, and you just want to help, you don't know what to do about it. So is there like any first aid that you can help administer or help the person with, at least to make them feel a little bit better to actually come out of the house and come for coaching, or to come for mentoring, or to go for therapy if necessary?
Yeah, actually, coincidentally, I'm actually a mental health first aider. So we're trained to actually be like the intervention between before the person actually sees a certified or a psychologist or a therapist. So basically what we do, like I'm also a master practitioner of neurolinguistic programming, and there's something called rapport. Rapport is building trust. Now, for example, if someone is going through this, the first thing I would do is to build a connection, and I start with compliments. We all like compliments. When you meet, I like your smile. Oh my God, I really do love your dress, and I had asked you earlier, where can I get it? It brought a smile to your face. So no matter how bad a person is feeling, start with building rapport. Give the person a compliment. Say something nice. And then most importantly, listen. We don't listen.
Listen to people.
We talk without looking at people, and it affects it. If you want to really connect with someone, you really have to look into their eyes and show concern.
Feel it on your body.
Some people will tell you that they're uncomfortable with what do you call it? Eye
Because they're
contact.
not used to it. It's not normal in our own
It's not.
society.
It's not.
Exactly.
It's not. But you see, like for example now, it's not just eye contact. For example now, if you come to me, I would ask, can I hold your hand? I will seek permission. Because sometimes that's all we need. Someone to just make you feel a little better. How are you doing?
Okay now.
How's work? You look really pretty.
Thank you so much.
Do you know there are people that they've not been told they look pretty in a very, very long time?
Shocked.
And we do something called psychotherapy. Psychotherapy is basically talk therapy.
Yeah.
Get people to like love themselves again.
Again, there is this thing. Somebody actually went through a very traumatic event, and it made her like she hated the environment she was living in because that thing happened to her there. She even left the city. She didn't even want to go back there. And somebody said she was maybe suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder or something like that. And so people don't understand that maybe it was the event that caused that. It'll be like they'll force her to just go there, and she'll be like, "No, I don't want to go there." So I don't know. People don't understand these things.
It's
How
possible.
do you now make people to understand that look, these things happen, and it's not your place to judge the person and make them to even feel worse. You should try to make them feel better. I don't know. It's like this wide notion. I think what you said earlier also, we need sensitization and all that. The awareness has to be there, but how do you now begin to propagate this awareness when people don't even believe that it is possible to have a mental health problem? You
By
just feel
talking
like
about it.
you're being dramatic.
By talking
or
about it.
being attitudinal.
It's basically by talking about it. And you see, most people are afraid to be vulnerable. That's why most of the time when I have classes, I talk about me. We don't find it comfortable to talk about our bad sides or our weaknesses.
Yeah.
And when you do, people connect. For example, the person you're talking about, it's very possible it's PTSD. You know?
Yeah.
The thing is, when something happens, traumatic happens to a person, there are 3 ways you react. Naturally, your body reacts to trauma. It could be fight, it could be flight, it could be freeze. Now, I'll give an example. You find yourself in a forest, just like we're sitting right here. We just find ourselves in a forest right now. You know, just the way we wrote to just, and then you just open your eyes and you see yourself right there, right now. It's not village people matter. It just happened.
Just happened.
And then you see a hungry-looking lion right at you. Your body will do 3 things. 1, first, it may freeze and you just stand there. Just kill me, finish. Or fight mode. You decide to pick up a stick. You know you can't fight a lion with a stick, but you will try something to defend yourself.
Yeah.
Or thirdly, you could flee. You decide to run. You know you cannot outrun a lion, but you would try. Now, when you're going through this, your heart begins to beat faster. You begin to sweat. You begin to shake. That is how the body reacts to trauma. Now, the person you're talking about, it's possible. Anytime she goes back to that place, the traumatic event happens, she relives it all over again. Her heart will beat faster. She may begin to sweat. So, like I told you again, can you explain that to someone? Can you explain that feeling? No. So they wouldn't understand it. That is why there is need for us to do mental health awareness. People don't understand it. And you can't blame them. They don't understand what they're doing. They can't have sympathy or empathy for things they don't understand. So we have to talk a little more about it.
We'll have to talk to people. We have to create like what's happening. Now we have to make awareness for mental health. We have to let people know that it is something that happens, and we should really try to, just find a way to make sure that everyone, you don't leave anyone, no one is left behind. You don't leave anyone feeling down. You don't leave anyone behind. Don't leave anyone at the back.
Another thing is personality. People don't understand that you can have a different personality as everyone else. For example, if I say I'm an introvert, I have my cycle, or like I do not socialize, as any other person. They'll be like, you don't like people. You don't like attending stuff. And it's not like you don't like people really, but maybe you're not comfortable around some people. So but they'll be like, you just have to be an extrovert by force.
And so you don't force people to be what you want.
Again, lack of awareness. I once told someone that you could even be an ambivert. And she said, what's that? An ambivert is the link between an introvert and an extrovert. There's a middle course, an ambivert. An ambivert, a person who can be an extrovert, can be chatty and outgoing, and at the same time can be secluded and quiet. There are people that are like that. Sometimes I don't like noise, and sometimes I am noisy.
I need the noise.
Oh, you are the noise. Dear viewers, it's still the show Deen and Dunya. Now I'll ask our special guest to tell us what to do if we go through any type of mental health issues.
Well, the thing is, first of all, acknowledge it. We have been raised in a society whereby we are told to, Mom, don't talk about it, don't show pain, don't show vulnerability, don't, man up. Acknowledge it. Acknowledge the fact that I am not doing okay. Acknowledge the fact that it's not okay. And then seek for help. Talk to people who you trust. That's why we always insist you should have a support system. Everybody should have someone, 1, 2, 3 people that you can call at any time when you're in trouble. You should have someone like that you can talk to, and then of course see an expert, and they can take you through the process. And I keep telling people it's not enough to just see a psychologist or a therapist. You are also supposed to see a counselor, because when you are going through therapy, your life is changing, your cycle is changing. So you could also need a counselor who will now help you work towards practicing a new pattern and routine. And we insist, and I keep telling people that there's this very popular saying in mental health: it's okay not to be okay. It's okay. You have to let people know that, but just don't remain not okay.
Okay, so our takeaways are self-affirmation, positive self-talk. You can even have a gratitude journal. You can have coping mechanisms whenever you're in certain situations. So thank you very much to our dear guests, and inshallah, we hope that you're going to accept our invitation in the future.
Inshallah.
All right, dear viewers, it's still the show Deen and Dunya. We'll continue to bring issues and try to find solutions. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.